everybody. I figured we're going to do this after dark because I thought it'd be interesting. You guys know if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. Okay. So I ended up going through the appeals process. Facebook Meta has some new thing here. Okay. They've got an appeals process that you can go through. And actually, I liked it. Y'all, I literally liked it. Um, Facebook has this new tool that actually is really actually fair. I legitimately actually like the appeals process that they have for the oversight board because I went in there and I was like, wait a minute, this is stupid, right? Because what they dinged me on was something that their system automated will ding you on. And it's some crap from like way back when. Okay. I don't even remember posting this, right? So there was no type of any type of nudity in the picture, right? I'm like, where are you getting this from? So I go and hit the button on the side, right? I hit the button on the side, right? Once I hit the button and it gives you this appeal process you can go through, I was like, huh? So I'm like, I'm going to appeal this. Y'all got me messed up. So I went through this process and it's so freaking easy, yo. Like, I wanted to drag him for filth, but this is the one time Mark Zuckerberg actually did something right. So as much as I drag his ass up and down these streets, I wanted to make sure that I retract this statement for once. I dragged him righteously, but this one is where he's owed. Okay, I was wrong. Okay, sir, that's the only tool that you've ever made that works. That's actually good. Yeah, I said it. Because the tool itself allows you to defend yourself. Say somebody unethical, so wrong to you. Like, okay, let me give you all a prime example. This avatar and her jackass friends who like to recruit people to make false reports. This literally is a tool that needs to be used across the whole board for oversight. The government can literally have a contract with like whatever government crap they do and have a review committee that literally is an oversight committee for all social media. I'm telling you, I really liked it. Because at first I was like ready to cuss his ass clean out. But then I was like, let me go through the appeal process, see what this tool's like, right? So of course, little me guinea pig sits up here and it's like, okay, let me go check it out. Let me go fight the battle, fight the good fight, and give him a piece of my mind. So I went and used the tool. It is the most simple, laid out, easy tool to utilize to defend yourself, especially when you're going through false reports. This is what they should have had 10 years ago. This is what they should have had 5 years ago. Because say somebody makes a false report, Facebook can keep track of every little false stinking ass report that somebody makes. I'm just being honest with you guys. This is just me as a momager, mother, and a business person. This was the most safest tool that they could have created. The only thing they're missing is a removal tool. It's something that's already been built before, but I think they could build a better tool with the developers. And this is me putting my thinking cap on, okay? Legitimately, that they could do a developable tool, the one that I've used before to take things off of Facebook, mass take it off. That same tool needs to be used on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. What's all? Okay. Discord, Instagram, Facebook, Meta. All of them. So y'all know what I'm talking about. Snapchat, WhatsApp, Keep all that. Because at this point, the appeal process was easy. Like I told them, you guys need to be fair. 5 years back, nobody remembers what they put on the internet. Okay? You'll need a grandfather 5 years back. I'll give you the tool to remove whatever the heck it is. Especially if we deny your appeal the second time. Okay? I'll give you the option to refuse to remove it. Or I'll give you the option to appeal. That tool should be right there to remove whatever the hell it is. Give that person the option. If it's been within the last 5-10 years, you know it's too old to be dinging somebody on Facebook. Give them that tool to remove whatever it is that you deem now that you got new terms of service and whatnot, because that would be ethical and moral. That would be ethical and moral in the sense of if it's on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, you're giving the person the right to say, I'll remove it to keep from getting in trouble. But if they refuse to remove it and want to go and appeal it, you got the appeals process to go through, which was easy as heck. Because you guys know how I do it. I was over technical. I was like, here's what this is. This was the definition of nudity. That's not nudity. They were sitting on each other's lap and she wasn't butt looking naked. And here's what naked means. I sure did. Y'all know I'm very technical. And this was the old group that my homeboy had. So not only did I personally let them know, hold up, wait a minute, sir. This picture you're talking about, that's not nudity. Nudity is when somebody's coop happy and dick is hanging out. Their breast is not in the bra and panties. Sitting on somebody's lap. So, and it wasn't intended to be sexy at all. So, here's the thing. I politely wrote out what nudity was, what the definition was. I politely put intimacy, what that definition was, and what that was is intimacy. That was the nudity. I don't know what your machine is looking at, but I'm gonna need your machine to learn better what nudity is, because butt looking naked with your coop happy hanging out and your dick hanging out, Peter Wayne. Then we're talking about nudity. Full on frontal nudity, got no bra on, no nothing, that's nudity. So I politely outlined, you know how I am. I went and diagrammed it. I started to say if they had me a drawing tool, I would have drawn some titties and some with JJ and showed what nudity was. But I decided to behave myself and I just politely put the definition, Google it. And then on top of that, I outlined, I said, nowhere in this picture is she butt naked. Not at all, she's sitting on this man's lap. And it was in a group we were talking about intimacy and relationships that my homeboy had. So I'm gonna need you to go to him first and have him remove it before you come barking down my door. Okay? But being reasonable as a learning lesson, right? I said, you know what? Maybe their machine is not honed enough to know what nudity is, because if somebody's sitting on somebody's lap, they're not butt looking naked, so they're not nude. And if they're in an intimate embrace, that's not nudity. Where to all be darned. Do you have a blind man looking at this, ma'am, sir? I'm gonna need y'all to get it together and your machine learning together to know what nudity looks like. And if you don't, you need to program it. So I politely put it to them exactly what nudity was and intimacy was. So needless to say, the appeals process on the latter bright side of this is I said, you know what? This is the greatest process that they could ever came up with. Their oversight board actually did the right thing. And it actually is easy. It's fast. Like, I was thinking about all the times that they were making false reports on my account. When they were doing all this stuff, where was this at? Like, I'm mad at you, Mark. Mr. Zuckerberg. Zuck. Where was this at? But I'm okay because I went through the process. And it is really what they needed across the board. And they need a committee that works for Facebook that's just oversight. That literally is a team of people. And Facebook, Twitter needs to do the same exact thing. For their process to be fair. You guys understand what I'm talking about? And YouTube, the same thing. Because all this false reporting people are doing is wasting time and resources. Whereas you can have working home people who actually work in the department of what we call oversight committee. They can have the contract through the NSA. or offices, what's it called? OPM.gov. And that's Office of Personnel Management. Have oversight committee that works for Facebook, but they go through a contract with the Office of Personnel Management, OPM.gov, which means they're not going to do away with jobs. There's more jobs for people to get, but these will be federal jobs and state jobs. And if you work in certain cities, you're at the state level, and if you work in certain cities, you're at the federal level. Okay. The only reason why I'm thinking about this is because I went through so much goddamn hell on Facebook and Twitter. And I'm thinking the way that Twitter and Facebook could come together on this is have the same damn tool. That's government approved. Because at this point, with IC3, they can work with IC3.gov, Office of Inspector General, and OPM.gov, or NSA. One of the two of them. So that they can start, if they have a serious report that somebody at work and home cannot handle, it goes to a higher process outside of the committee. Because I'm thinking about all the dangerous shit and all the things that made it not easy on Facebook to tolerate. Just a minute, y'all. And y'all know that I'm not a happy camper when it comes down to like, hold up. I ain't doing nothing wrong. What are you talking about? Because they dinged me 2 or 3 times in the last year of some stuff like there's an Aborigines who was in a loincloth. They weirdo, sir, ma'am. Where are you dinging me this for this? So I want to go back on those ID numbers and do an appeal on those, just to go through the process a couple good times. Because I know it like the back of my hand just by this one time. Okay? And really, literally, that process is perfect. Because I used to be a records administrator. And I used to look through things and look through stuff like that where you have to go through and check everything and things like that. So what they need is people with the background of records administration, or what they call what's it called? ODAM is what it's called in business management. And when I took the degree of human resources, they just need somebody who's got a human resources background, or people who are human resources administrators, or what they call assistants, who can work at Facebook. Okay? And they can work at home and do this, right? So literally Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, blah, 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 XY3 course report will have a good system that is universally used. Because the system needs to be deployed. Facebook is actually a pioneer in this, and it actually is better for fairness across the whole platform. Because all of us have probably been dinged for some damn dumbass shit. I know we all have. Because what? In 10 years, some of us have been 30, 20, 40 years old. So some of us who are 40 years old, 30 years old, I'm in my 30s. So it means that there's a level layer of, there's some stuff I did 5 years ago. I don't remember what I did, other than like a couple of things. Then I'm like, okay, take it off. Give me a tool, I'll take it off. I found a tool to take most of it off. I didn't catch all of it. But in that, get that same tool that I found and use it and get it from Google, because Google has it. See if they can buy it or do a deal with Google. Since Google and YouTube and all that are the same company, Alphabet, then they'll be able to do it across the board and then adopt the same system. Because I think that what Google is going to have to change is different because they do video. So literally, you're going to have work at home people who look at videos and they do a whole, what we call HR, looking at the videos. And when somebody makes a whole complaint and says, oh, this is nudity. No, it's not. She's got some short shorts. It's not nudity. Stop lying. And start dinging the people making false reports. Or tell them or school them on making right reports and make the correct report. Because if somebody's not sitting up their butt book naked, ain't got their titties and their poop happy and their dick hanging out, that's not nudity. If they're overtly having sex right there on the platform, that's not nudity. So I was thinking about it because I was like, because somebody wanted to argue something that they put on Instagram one time, right? I'm not going to say who it was because these are celebrities. This other person wanted to go and complain because another person had their drawers on and they get in trouble. But you have to understand, this person's not naked. You posted something naked, sir. So the difference between the report would be you would be making a false report about that person, but what you posted was straight up all on nudity. So you deserve to get dinged for that. So you guys see the fairness here in balancing this? Because in HR, when we're talking about internal investigations or oversight, if somebody comes to my office and says, I need you to oversee this, okay, let me see it. Okay, so I see a video, right? A girl's in her short shorts. Somebody reports that shit for nudity. Ma'am, sir, why did you make this report? Because if you're doing it out of spiteful, malicious intent, I'm going to have to do you, not the other person with the short shorts on. Yeah, their butt cheeks are hanging out, so what? They're not naked. Why did you make this report? You wasted municipal resources while somebody else in support could have been working with something else. So then you understand the fairness of what I'm saying. So I'm just trying to give you all my argument about it. Because at this point, that tool that they made is perfect to be able to make that argument. So somebody can get their account back, especially if you got a bunch of people trolling someone and making false reports. So YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, lost count of all the damn sites. All these sites can be able to say we have oversight. We have committees of people who work. They can do even work at home because the company I used to work for could actually do it. And they can have 1099 contractors if they don't have permanent people. Then those people, they do 6 months to 10 months on the job, they can get hired on permanent Office of Personnel Management, NSA, and still do that as their permanent job. But if they do a good job and do a good oversight level of work, then you have a whole level of social media being safe. It's being babysitted properly without doing too damn much. Then if you see the algorithms going up too much and people are arguing and fussing and fighting, then turn off the comments automatically. The things that I told them they should have been doing. Because at this point, in order to save Mark Zuckerberg's ass and his business, he's going to have to do this. Not that I hate the twit. I just don't like what happened. So I'm thinking to myself, out of respect for him, yeah, I just called him twit and said to respect at the same time below. Because sometimes it pisses me off. But I'm thinking all the things that I complained about to him, maybe they're finally listening and doing something about it. So obviously they've got this thing here. So I got a chance to guinea pig myself to it. So I did. I liked it. It was just so simple that a disabled person can use it. All they have to do is put in TTY, which means if somebody's blind, deaf, hard of hearing, they'll be able to do it and do their appeals process too. Okay. Yes, there are deaf people out there. So for it to be disabilities, ADA friendly. So I figured that this process with Facebook is pretty good. So I want to retract my statement for dragging him to her filth and to hell and back. Yes, I did. I'm not sorry about that, but I'm retracting my statement. Because I was pissed. So I'm like, this moron, you ding me for this? So you're not a moron as of right now. Before, yes, you are. I'm humble enough to retract my statement sometimes. With a half-assed apology. So with that being said, Facebook, aka Meta, the appeal process, I like it. The oversight committee got it right. The only thing they need is the tool to remove things mass removal. Especially if somebody has some things. So Facebook would then sit with that person and go through everything that they've ever posted that they deem as possibly problematic, or give them the option to have that tool downloaded and be able to remove things if they get deemed. Give them 6 months of a grace period to go through anything that could have possibly been on Facebook, be able to scan their Facebook. If there's something that comes up in that tool that says ding, 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 problematic, remove it. It's just that simple. Or go through the appeals process if it wasn't problematic and the person can explain. That way, they're not going to end up losing their accounts. Facebook retains their numbers. So does YouTube. So does Instagram. So does Twitch. So does Twitter. So does Snapchat. So does WhatsApp. So does Keep. But you can remove the bullshit. But if it's 5 years ago, grandfather it in, give them the tool, and say, I'm going to allow you to scan your Facebook. I'm going to allow you to scan your groups. I'm gonna allow you to clean up all your shit. 2023, you better not have shit else on my platform. It's just that simple. Someone gets a plan here because I'm exhausted with this. And then it creates more jobs on Facebook, Twitter, work at home. And then on top of that, they can 1099 contractor to make it easy. So your work at home people, as many as the processes that they go through, and they do so many a day, they'll have this cleaned up in 5 years, 10 years max. But you'll still have a good working tool, and you'll have metrics to measure if it works or not. I'm just saying. And as a business person and in human resources, my best thing to do is to tell him, hey, you need to fix this and do this. Use that tool, but develop the other tool I told you about. Because at this point, I'm sick of this shit. Just like this bot troll farm. They need something to report all these bots, these trolls, and all the provoking and gaslighting that they do. As you can see, they've done it in every one of my lives. I'm not worried about it. I ignore it. Let me see which one is up there. So at this point, social media needs to be safe. Social media needs to be a better platform. I mean, people are going to cuss within reason, okay? Too much cussing, okay. Bingo. But if they're doing okay within the first 2 minutes, don't worry about it. I wouldn't get my panties in their knot over it. But if there's some things going on where they're fussing and fighting, they're cussing each other out, then no. Okay? I don't think social media should be so hard to where it's such a misery to be on it. But it should be safe enough to be able to utilize the platforms, but not lose your platform for defending yourself. And then that tool actually works. And I wish they just had the people that can come into the rooms when people are fussing and arguing on the internet, and then they can slow down the algorithm enough to figure out what's going on and pull them into a room. Just like they pulled me into that room with Periscope and Twitter and told me about Tina and her stupidity and her bots and Carlos and his bots and his idiot levels of derangement and psychotic behavior on behalf of his miserable narcissistic wife, girlfriend, jump off, I don't know what you want to call it, basement dweller, basement avatar. I wanted you guys to understand why it's important because I went through this in real time. And the only way that I can think of them salvaging social media without demolishing all these platforms is literally put those things in place. So that's it. That's my review on Facebook. Meta Facebook appeal process. Then on top of that, hopefully YouTube will do the same thing in their human resources department and have the same thing going on. Because something needs to be done. Because all this false reporting, dinging people, making false reports, going and gathering your friends and buddies to go make false reports is wrong, first of all. Harassing people, terrorizing them, bot and troll farms, it's just too much. Like, stop it, grow up. So that's my thoughts on it. Hope you guys like this one. And if you want to hear my thoughts, you can hear the replay and things like that on my Clubhouse. Because honestly, they need to do something. And Clubhouse needs the same rules. You get what I'm saying? Because Clubhouse has become very popular. I love it. It's actually fun. It disturbs your sleep if you don't turn it off sometimes. But I literally think that all these platforms are billion-dollar, trillion-dollar platforms. Plus, they can create work-at-home jobs and digital jobs. The only thing is getting it done and having a human resources administrator, director over the whole entire thing and looking at it and overseeing it on top of the oversight board. So that's something that should be a work in progress. So I'm hoping you guys understand exactly how I really feel about this and how it can work out well with Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Discord, all the other platforms and things like that. So hopefully this will help you guys understand how I really feel about all of that and how social media needs to get better. Y'all take care, and I'm out. So this is the After Dark vital information about my Facebook appeal process. Y'all take care.